Hi there, I'm Kirk Marple, founder of Zine. What I want to show you today is a walkthrough of our new Zine application, which is a way to curate memory and knowledge from all kinds of different data sources that may be your Slack, your email, file uploads, even web crawling, and make it available both for your own use in chat and in summarization. You could publish data out to new formats like image generation with OpenAI's model, or even 11 Labs with their audio and create podcasts. You might be familiar with MCP. We are an MCP client where you can put any MCP server and use it during your chat. And you can also have Zine be an MCP server that you're then sharing that curated data out to other tools. So I'll give you a quick walkthrough. So this is Zine. It starts up, there's a context view, and then you can click and there's your chat view where you could pick different models from Google Gemini and DeepSeek. We'll start off with OpenAI GPT-4 1 Mini. You can see there's tools. These are MCP tools that are actually enabled within your chat. And then we'll go back here. These are different content that we've already ingested. Across the bottom, there's ways for here you could pull in a website with web crawling, RSS feed, things like Discord, even GitHub, Linear, Jira, down to Intercom, Zendesk. So all of these are available to you in addition to direct upload. So you can pull a set of files from Box and OneDrive, and Google Drive, Google Photos, even upload those directly to the system. You can do direct add context from a URL. So this could be a YouTube video that we pull in the audio transcript from. It could be a PDF, a web page. You can import your bookmarks from, say, like your Chrome bookmark file, and we'll then ingest all the web pages from that. We even have the ability to send an email. So we're partnered with Agent Mail, and so you can get an actual email address that you send to Zine, and then it ingests automatically everything in there. There's also webcam, screen capture, text content, creating event notes, and also this is really useful. It can do web searching, so you can put in, say, I don't know, let's say unstructured data, and we'll search for anything based on with that term or that question, and it gives you a list of web pages you can actually then ingest into Zine. And we do a similar thing with podcast search. So we could say unstructured data and look for any podcast episodes that may be useful. And so we'll pull those in, we'll automatically transcribe those, and those become context that you can use and ask questions and republish. But in addition, you can actually do transcription. We can talk about, I mean, anything regarding Zine, what we want to demo. We'll talk about data sources and chats. And then this automatically gets transcribed and brought in as a new piece of content. So instead of using something like Granola or different things like that for recording, you can actually do this directly in Zine itself. Now, we'll walk over here. So this is, you can kind of see how much data you've ingested. You could talk about upgrading different chats, data sources you may have. We track the credits and the usage, the breakdown that you've used. And then this is where you can create data connectors and MCP connectors. So right here, we're actually pulling in, these are all MCP tools that we have enabled. This is built on our Graphlet platform. So all of these tools and resources are built directly into Zine. So that gives you ability to ingest text, ingest URL, query, retrieve data. So this is all MCP tools that are built in for you. And then what we can do here is we can actually bring in another MCP server, say Sentry, and this will actually let us authenticate and bring it right in through OAuth. And there we go. These are the Sentry tools and resources that are all available. And so this just we went through the OAuth process. We brought this in, and then we'll automatically get to use these tools with your chat, which we'll do in a second. And then you can set, by default, everything is an ask before permission. You can say, okay, I want to select and always allow everything. So we can automate that. And then these are all the models. So we're model agnostic. I mean, everything from Anthropic to Grok to Cohere to Cerebrus, this is all supported. Now, how do you get data in here? So this is where data sources, we've created a Notion data source, and I've brought in a page from my Notion. And this is where you could have different data sources. This is you could bring in email and files from Google Blob storage, and then the collections are where basically think of like these as like virtual folders. And so we can then filter, say, okay, this is actually an audio file in the podcast collection. And so this is we'll start getting into how do we actually use the media management capabilities of Zine. Clients is how you expose what you're looking at in a view to another MCP client. And so this is something where we can have a bearer token. This actually, you can copy this and use this within a different MCP client like Cursor. And this lets you then share the data that you see here with ChatGPT, with Claude Desktop, anything like that. And so what you might have seen up here, the ability to search on something. So we could say, let's actually look and see it there. Let's just say bearer token. And so this is actually doing a vector-based search, which you can control over here. So it's a hybrid plus, so vector plus keyword. You can pick just keyword or just vector, and it gives you a relevance score of what you're actually searching for. So what you get here is this is our grid view. You obviously can get a different sides of the grid to see more or less, but we also give you a list. And then the knowledge graph is really one of the core features. So we've been working with building knowledge graphs from all this data, using entity extraction with LLMs. And this is actually loading all the data from this contents and shows you the connections here between, say, this is a video, actually has content in here, shows you the preview, and then shows you what it's actually connected to. So pulling in here from other content that was brought in, looking for, you can see the relationship of here's an organization, here's a person, here's a label. And the graph then can be filtered for by the types of data that you've brought in, as well as by doing clustering of data. And you can even export images of that. Then finally, we give you a map view. So if data gets geotagged or has it's an image that has the metadata, the EXIF metadata, this actually you can then see all of your data that was geotagged. And we actually do automatic geotagging from textual data. If we can locate something like here was the original text in New York City, and we understood that that was a point of interest. So we'll go back to the grid. You can then filter by, let's say, just by web pages. And this gives you the ability to just see the high level of your type. We could say, okay, well, let's show files as well and just audio. And so this gives you a nice way to filter that. You can then create saved views. So I could say, save this current filter. And so this is like web and audio. Save this as a new view. And then this is what's interesting over here is you can now share just that view. So that curated slice, you could share that with an MCP server. Yeah, so here's a podcast that we've adjusted. Here's the transcript that we can even jump to different spots in the transcript. We get the metadata from the MP3 file, and we automatically generate a summary and keywords and quotes, and even pull out the knowledge graph. And so all of this is in here. We can search and filter on it, and we can even chat with this specific piece of content. So summarize. Um, the usage of AI coding tools from this podcast. And so this is using the model we picked here. And so this is limited to just, it's asking a question specifically about this audio file, where in the rest of the app, you can actually ask questions about across all of your data in your context. And so this talks about using AI coding tools within Cursor, slowing down, so all of this. And then you can even copy this, and you could say, copy this to the clipboard, use that elsewhere. And let's go back here. So we'll take this podcast, click on this, And then we can publish this as audio. So like if you're familiar with like Notebook LM from Google, you can say, okay, let's create a podcast episode. And we are extracting the key points. You can then pick the model that you want to use for summarization. So we can say, let's use Google Flash for summarization, and then publishing, which makes the final output model, say we use Grok. And then all of this is here's you can actually edit the prompts you're using, edit the voice. So we could say, let's make it Charlotte, and these are 11 Labs voices, and then start publishing. And this gets re-ingested back into Zine as content. And we can do the same thing with writing it out as text, or you can even create little images, like for ads or for um, infographics and things like that. And so here, let's say, okay, let's create a social media card from this, and we'll just use the defaults. We can actually do this one now. And so this is using OpenAI's image generation, and it's summarizing the text in the transcript, republishing it from a meta prompt, and then sending that to the image generation model. So we'll just wait here. Look, it actually finished. This created this image graphic. So build solo faster with AI. And so this is all generated automatically just from summarizing that. You can customize the prompts. You could, I mean, turn this into a any kind of ad or infographic you want, but this was done automatically just from that transcript. So we'll look at the other half of this. So this is an MCP-enabled chat interface, so like Claude or like ChatGPT, but it's model agnostic. So we can use any model in here. So let's try Grok and summarize the latest information on um, on ChatGPT porting. And so what we can say is this should use a tool. So it's going to say use the Graphlet web search tool, which is already built in. And we can track, this is actually coming back, it's responding, it's actually ingesting a piece of content into here, which is the help article from OpenAI. And then it's retrieving that from our knowledge store, and automatically bring this back up. So it's a really elegant MCP tool execution, gives you all the visibility if you want to see the data or copy that data out, and then gives you all of the information of time to first token and token rate, because you're using a lot of different models. And we can even flip back over and say, well, let's finish this up with GPT-4.1 and say, okay, great, um, write me an email about this. And then you could even say, just out to copy this out and into your email client. So all this works well together. And then you see all of your past chats over here, and you can search through them, export them, anything you want. So this is a quick run through of Zine. It's a way to curate knowledge and memory from all sorts of data across different data sources, different media types, and then bring those into any MCP client, as well as curate that data and use it within our publishing capabilities. And soon we'll be doing video publishing in addition to image and audio publishing, and give the ability to have a full end-to-end content pipeline integrated with your AI. So hope you try it out. There's free tier available, and then as you move into the different pricing tiers, you get more credits to use every month and unlock other data sources. Well, thank you very much, and hope you try out Zine.